Hey guys, in today's video we're going to talk about 12 fun things to do outside of London. So when you think of the UK, the first place you think visiting is London. I mean, we get it, we live there. But while London has a lot to offer, well, there's so much more to the UK than just the capital. I'm Bavik, and collectively with my wife we are Binge Travelling, and as a channel we promote travel anywhere, anytime. Essentially, it's about making the most of every free moment you have in your day, from attractions to your doorstep to travelling abroad. So let's begin. So, number 1, York, the maze. So, if you haven't heard of it already, York has this ridiculously massive maze. In terms of size, it covers about 8 football pitches, and it's so cool. It's always carved into a different theme. So in the past they've had a Lion King theme, so when I'm talking about a theme, I'm talking about the actual maze cut out in the shape of a Lion King. So if you were to go over it in a helicopter, you would see the Lion King. But they've also had other themes like Star Wars as well, but you can see more about that on our post that we'll mention at the end of this video. But York has other things to offer as well. It's a beautiful historical city on the coast. Apparently you can get the best fish and chips there as well, so we would definitely recommend York as a place to visit. Moving on to the next one, number 2, Matlock Bath. The Heights of Abraham, more specifically. So it's probably most famous for its cable car going up to the top of the hill, and from there the views of Matlock are amazing, but also Gulliver's Kingdom, which is essentially like a family fun kind of theme park thing, probably more suited to younger children, but it is really fun, and it's also kind of up in the mountains, which is really fun. There's some mines, salt cave mines, and caves as well, which you can kind of go in and around. It's something different to do. I definitely recommend it as a place to visit. Moving to number 3, the Lake District. Now the Lake District is famous for its hiking, which you're probably aware of, but also its stargazing, cycling, and gingerbread. Yeah, that's right, I said it, gingerbread. So if we talk about hiking first of all, there's a famous ridge walk that you can go. It's called Helvin Ridge Walk. So as it's the third highest ridge walk in England, I believe, and as you're kind of walking around along it, if the weather's right, apparently you can see Scotland in the distance, although that kind of opinion is a bit disputed. I've never seen the weather that great enough to kind of see Scotland, but apparently you can, and you might get lucky, who knows. Secondly, stargazing. So the Lake District amazingly doesn't have that much pollution, and at night you can see a sky full of stars. They actually have a dedicated stargazing area in the Lake District, so we would definitely recommend that. It's romantic but great for the family as well. Cycling, off-road cycling. Given the landscape in the Lake District, you can, if you like cycling, this is a place to fill your boots. You can go out there and, you know, really test your mettle in the local forests and kind of mountainous, hilly areas. It's just great for it. We've done it, we loved it, definitely recommend it, especially around the Lake Windermere area. And finally, gingerbread. In case you didn't know, and you probably didn't, gingerbread was invented in the Lake District, and the house where the lady who actually invented it still exists. It's actually a small shop now, and they still make gingerbread using her recipe. It's the most amazing gingerbread you're going to have. If you're there, you have to try it. Moving to point number 4, Brighton's very independent Brighton food tours. So Brighton itself is a great little beach visit, especially if you live in London, given that it's only like a 40-minute train ride to get there. But you can also kind of, as well as kind of enjoying the beaches and attractions like the pier, you can go on a seafood tour to Brighton's lesser known food eateries. So you can go around there and eat some seafood that you wouldn't normally have, and just have, you know, experience something different, something that most tourists probably wouldn't experience. So we would definitely recommend that. Moving to point number 5, the pleasure beach. So Blackpool is arguably UK's guilty pleasure. It's known for kind of its stag and hen parties, but there's more to it, I promise you. The Pleasure Beach, for instance, is home to the Pepsi Max, which was once Europe's largest roller coaster. I've been on it before, and I can honestly tell you it's probably one of the most terrifying but exciting rides I've ever been on in my life. So if you're looking for something different, it's definitely one to try. It's also got a water park with the biggest wave machine I've ever seen, and is home to the Blackpool Tower, which is the UK's answer to the Eiffel Tower. I don't think it's a very good answer to the Eiffel Tower, mind you, but it's there, and at night it's lit up and it's beautiful. The beach is great for families too. Moving to point number 6, Liverpool. So Liverpool, formerly known as UK's capital of culture, not only does it have some brilliant architectural buildings and history associated with it, but it is home to the world's most famous band, otherwise known as the Beatles. So yes, you can go on a psychedelic tour of Liverpool. You can visit Paul McCartney's house where he grew up, as well as the likes of John Lennon and Ringo as well. So you can do all that. You can tour also in a Rolls Royce, which has been fashioned as a replica of John Lennon's Rolls Royce, which is pretty cool. You have to pay through the nose for that, obviously, but you've got some other options as well, which again we mentioned in our post, but you can check those out too. Moving on to our next one, Stratford-upon-Avon, which is point number 7. So Stratford-upon-Avon, home of William Shakespeare. Great place to visit, not only for the theatre, but also for going on a boat ride, afternoon tea, music as well. There's lots of kind of local musicians who are just playing on the street, which is great. You'll just have a great day out there. It's definitely worth visiting. Point number 8, Cambridge. So Cambridge is great for going for a spot of punting. What is punting, you ask? Well, the best comparison we can think of is the gondolas in Venice. So they can be just as romantic. They're essentially long boats where you have the equivalent of a gondolier kind of pushing you down Cambridge's rivers. The name of that gondolier, though, is called a punter. So the boat that you're on is a punt, and the person pushing it is called a punter. Very lovely, actually. Anyway, as you're going through that's a beautiful experience, but Cambridge itself has got a lot to offer too, including the University of Cambridge, as well as its other historical sites too. So now moving on to the next one. So number 9, Hertfordshire. Hertfordshire is just a great place to get away from the city. So if you are local to London, it's a great kind of local retreat. So Lee Valley Park is probably one of the biggest pools in Hertfordshire, and it's actually home to the Whitewater Rafting Centre, which actually was used in the Olympics. So if you've got a group of people, it's just a great thing to do if you want to get away from the city and do something different. It'll definitely test your wits, and be prepared for the boat to overturn, but it's just a great bit of fun. You can do other stuff as well. I think they've got, if you ever watched the programme Wipeout, where they have kind of inflatable games but in water, they have an equivalent thing there as well. Definitely worth checking it out. Right, number 10, Cornwall. Visit the Eden Project. So the Eden Project is essentially a conservation site with 3 massive biomes, which are essentially 3 semicircle conservatories with different climates associated with them. So you have a tropical climate, an African climate, and a Mediterranean one. And as you walk in through each of them, you actually feel that heat, and you see those plants as well as the bird life as well. It's really an incredible experience. So if you're not planning on going abroad one year, but you still want to feel like you have been abroad, if you know what I mean, this is the place to go to. Cornwall is definitely the place to go to, not just for the Eden Project, but if you are in that area that time, that's the place to go. Number 11, Edinburgh. Festival city. So Edinburgh itself is incredible. You've got the castle, the Royal Mile, and everything there. But it hosts some major festivals like Hogmanay, Arts Festival, the Fringe Festival as well, and yeah, it's just awesome. You can go there and just enjoy the talent that it attracts from all over the world. If you are travelling to the UK, or if you're planning a visit anywhere, Edinburgh would definitely be on my list to do something very cool, very different, have some good food as well, meet some really friendly people. It's a great place to go. And finally, number 12, Glasgow. Live music. If you love live music, Glasgow's the place to go to. It's got so many cool bars and stuff where you can listen to some up and coming people. But what's more interesting is it's actually classed as a kind of UNESCO kind of heritage site of music, because of the number of musicians that have come from there and kind of flourished. Bands that have played there include the likes of Coldplay and Oasis in their early days. Right, so what's our favourite UK attraction and why? So for us, it's definitely the Eden Project in Cornwall, and the main reason why is because of those biomes that we mentioned as well. It's just truly incredible just seeing the size of the project, experience those different climates while still being in the same country. I just think it's such an amazing place. But it's not just because of the Eden Project. Cornwall itself is really great. So St Ives, one of the most popular areas in Cornwall. It's great for surfing if you like that kind of thing. You've got some amazing beaches. But you've also got the likes of some local fishing villages like Looe and Polperro, which aren't too far from each other, but they're just gorgeous. So you've got lots of great little local shops, some great local fish restaurants, which are lovely. You can do some Morris dancing. If there's when we went there last time, there were some Morris dances around there, and I got involved, which embarrassed my wife obviously, but it was good fun. You've also got St Michael's Mount, which is the equivalent of Mont Saint Michel if you've ever been there in France. If you're coming from the UK for an extended trip, it's definitely worth visiting the region for sure. So if you've enjoyed this video and you want to find out more, we've written a blog post on these exact 12 attractions, so just go to bingetravelling.com /12 fun things to do outside of London. So as we mentioned on the blog post, we've got the distance it is from London, so we've taken London as the central point, where it is in the UK, as well as price points too. Also kind of the best times of the year to visit all the places that we've mentioned in this video. We'd love to hear your comments, and make sure you subscribe too, and also hit on that bell notification so you get alerted every time we come out with a new video. And as we mentioned, we will be making videos every single week. Thanks for your time, guys.